Good morning, members. We have already formed a quorum. First of all, we have to elect a chairman. In accordance with House rules and Appendix 4 to the House rule, we have the provisions in relation to the election of chairman. So we need a nomination verbally to be seconded, also verbally. I accept your nomination. A member has nominated Priscilla Lam. Can we simplify the rules? Any other nominations? Well, I accept the nomination. According to today's agenda, I think we can make it simple. We are here to talk about the Trainee Solicitors Amendment Rules 2017 Commencement Notice. So at this moment, please invite the representatives from the Law Society of Hong Kong to join us.
有冇個 brief 啊？有冇個 brief？
呢個就係用呢個好簡單。
好似唔使啦。就內容啦，咁我都講佢加咗即係嗰幾點講完就得㗎啦，嚇。
咁就呢個需唔需要發言時間嗰啲咧？好。
冇咗個 A， 呢度寫 328。首先呢
I would like to welcome the representatives from the Law Society of Hong Kong. Thank you for coming to our meeting today. I think we have got a very simple agenda today. I'd like to give the floor to the Law Society of Hong Kong so as to brief us on the amendments involved. You can make it brief. We want to understand the amendments sought in the legislative exercise. Could we walk us through? Yes, Madam Chair, I'm Serena. Thank you, Chair. Let me first of all briefly talk about the amendments involved. This is about the Trainee Solicitors Amendment Rules 2017. Well, this is 20J under the Legal Practitioners Ordinance Cap 159. Well, according to the rules, if a barrister would like to be admitted as a solicitor, the barrister may apply to the Law Society to be exempted in relation to employment as a trainee solicitor. First of all, the person has to be given a certificate from the Bar Council stating that it knows of no reason why he should not be admitted to practice as a solicitor. So we call it the certificate from the Bar Council. The Bar Council has said that if there is difficulty to, if there's an outstanding allegation or a complaint, then it will be difficult to issue a certificate. We need to amend Rule 20 so that under Rule 21C, upon amendment, the Bar Council certificate will state clearly the following. A, no resolution has been passed by the Bar Council that the person has been in breach of proper professional standards. B, no resolution has been passed by the Bar Council as a result of the complaint being made to it or otherwise that the conduct of the person should be inquired into by a barrister's disciplinary tribunal. C, no conduct of the person as a barrister is the subject of proceedings being conducted or pending before the barrister's disciplinary tribunal or the Court of Appeal. D, no order has been made against the person by a barrister's disciplinary tribunal under Section 37 of the Ordinance, and E, whether there are any outstanding allegations or complaints against the person that are to be dealt with by the Bar Council. And a statutory declaration has to be submitted by the applicant to the Law Society stating to his knowledge, information and belief as to whether there are any outstanding allegations or complaints against him to be dealt with by the Bar Council, and if so, the particulars of those allegations or complaints. If there are outstanding allegations or complaints against him to be dealt with by the Bar Council, then Law Society may grant an exemption only after the Bar Council notifies the Law Society of the outcome of its decision or resolution by the Bar Council. On the 26th of May 2017, it was gazetted, and then there hasn't been any amendments at the end of the scrutiny period. And according to the commencement order, the President has appointed the 31st of May 2017 as the commencement date for the relevant rules. The first to speak will be Ms. Dennis Kwok. 4 minutes in the first round. I don't think I need that much time. Thank you, representatives of Law Society of Hong Kong, for coming here so early. I didn't propose the setting up of the subcommittee. I have no questions about the rules. You have consulted the Bar Association, and they have agreed to your proposed amendments. I've read the amendments, and I do not have any questions. The paper is clear. I don't have any other questions. I'm in fact in the middle of another meeting. I just want to check with our colleagues if they have got any questions.
Chairman, I don't know why this meeting was convened, but since somebody requested the convening of the meeting, then legislators with a legal background have a responsibility to look into it. Personally, and the DAB, we don't have any comment. We support this, but I'd like to take the opportunity, since we're at the meeting, I do have some information I'd like to clarify. In the past, when barristers switched over to a solicitor, so the requirement was that they were called to the bar in Hong Kong or overseas. So are there any restrictions? Can they come from any jurisdiction? Because the paper only says from any other place. So who can take up that question? Allow me to explain. If there are barristers from other jurisdictions wishing to come to practice in Hong Kong, they have a different channel. There is the Overseas Lawyers Qualifications channel, and could you speak into the mic? According to overseas barristers coming to Hong Kong, they have their own exemption mechanism. I didn't catch your first sentence because of the audio. Your question was about other jurisdictions and what are the channels for them to practice in Hong Kong. Well, they won't be using this ordinance. They'll be using the Overseas Lawyers channel. Mr. Cheung Kok Kwan? Well, just now we mentioned that barristers who wish to practice as a solicitor, Cap 1459 J20, it refers to barristers. If they want to be acknowledged as solicitors, they can apply for an exemption from the Law Society to practice as a trainee, and there are exemptions A, B, C, D, E. So this is for any barrister can be exempted from being a trainee solicitor, because according to Cap 20, if they practice as barristers and not less than 5 years, whether in Hong Kong or overseas, so they have been practicing for 5 years. So of course, no problem if they are practicing from Hong Kong. But if they are from overseas, I'd like to know the other jurisdictions that you refer to. in the past, were there any restrictions, or what is the situation? So who can respond to that? Allow me to see if I can respond. A barrister, under the common law, there is a profession called the barristers. Now, in our mechanism, the barristers, they need to take some examinations related to Hong Kong in order to practice in Hong Kong. So these examinations, it means that they have to take Hong Kong exams, or through their overseas qualifications examination, they can participate in the overseas examination. So after satisfying all these requirements, and if they want to be exempt from the 2-year trainee, they can use this mechanism. So that, my understanding is, it would include barristers under the common law system. So please speak into the microphone. Anybody else with questions? Let me pose a question. Let's say in Singapore we have people who are with qualifications, who are barristers and solicitors, with these qualifications. So people who have taken the PCLL and they can practice as a barrister. Is that the case? Chairman, regarding people who have taken the PCLL and their academic qualifications, that has satisfied the requirement, and these barristers, they can, under this ordinance, they can make the application. But if they are in Singapore and they have qualified as a solicitor advocate in Singapore, then they need to satisfy other examinations in order to use this mechanism to apply for exemption from a trainee solicitor. So that means they have to qualify as a barrister in Hong Kong, and then they have to satisfy the other 5-year requirement and so on. Well, they have to be a Hong Kong barrister. So even if they are overseas barrister, they first have to qualify as a Hong Kong barrister. So, and then they satisfy the 5-year requirement. Well, what other requirements do they have to satisfy? So once their overseas qualifications meet the requirement, then they can practice as a barrister in Hong Kong, and they have a 5 years practice and the other requirements that we have. Then they don't have to meet the other criteria. Well, typically we will ask them to take accounts and professional conduct. That means if they wish to practice as a solicitor, they have to take that examination as well. So even if they have overseas qualifications and become a Hong Kong barrister, if they don't have that qualification, they still have to, yes, if they want to apply for exemption from the trainee solicitor. Any other questions? If not, well, we just want to agree on the commencement date of 8th of January, and because of administrative issues, we make reference to paragraph 6 to 8 of members' brief, and I'd like to consult our members. The Secretariat has mentioned that reporting to the House on this Friday, when they report to the House Committee, it's rather urgent, so they would like to extend it a little bit. Do you wish to extend? So they just want to extend the deadline a little bit. Any objection? No? Then so let's extend it by a week, and we can report to the House next Friday. So thank you for attending today's meeting. Thank you.